Hi, everyone. This is Weather or Not, sponsored by TD Bank. I'm WABC Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg, and this is a storm update, whether or not. We are recording this on Tuesday evening as our storm has gotten underway with a warm front coming through, and we got our initial batch of rain, which dropped about a third of an inch in New York City. Actually came down pretty heavy in a couple of spots, but that initial band is starting to move out. This is a storm that stretches from the East Coast back to the upper Midwest. And what a night it has been in Chicago. I've been watching some of our coverage from our sister station WLS out in Chicago as they've been tracking tornadoes west and northwest of downtown Chicago. Right now in the storm reports, I'm counting 3 confirmed tornadoes west of Chicago, just to the west of actually Aurora, Illinois, and some funnel clouds in that area and some damaging winds. You know, the southern tail of that line is tracking at least toward the north side of Chicago, but it looks like it's weakening a little bit. Of course, they're moving through the nighttime hours, so the stability is getting a little less, or the instability is getting a little less as we go through the evening hours there. But they have definitely had a rough night, and we did have at least one confirmed tornado on the ground from the Weather Service, but now from these storm reports, it looks like we are at least up to about 3. So that's the part of the system that's associated with the squall line we've been advertising for our area as we go into tomorrow evening. Now, it's not going to be as dynamic. There will be the threat of some severe storms, especially across eastern Pennsylvania, like the I-81 corridor, into central New York State and into the Catskills and Poconos. That will be late in the day tomorrow into the very early evening hours. But you lose some of that instability as you get closer to the coastal plain. Looking at the way our atmospheric profile is set up, we have something called an inversion in place, and that's where temperature starts rising with height. And what that does is it doesn't allow the storms to maximize their access to some of the very strong winds with a low-level jet stream that's screaming just a couple thousand feet up. And so we're not going to be able to tap into all of that wind. We'll get some of it, though. So if there's, let's say, a 70, 80 mile per hour low-level jet above, maybe we can get half of that, and we could get a 40 or 50 mile per hour gust when these storms start to move through. So that's something we'll definitely be watching. So the first round of rain tonight, there were some breezes, but it really wasn't terribly windy. But that's associated with the warm front coming in. We've got southerly breezes that have gusted over 20, and with these mild winds overnight, we'll barely drop below 50. In fact, we may not in New York City. So it's a mild, kind of damp night. But we shut off the showers until about maybe 3 or 4 in the morning when another batch comes through, followed by another batch close to about 8 in the morning. So that does have implications for your morning commute. I'm just eyeballing some of the rainfall totals so far. It's actually close to 4/10 in Newark from this initial band. So, by the time it's all said and done, now that this at least initial band has done pretty well, we'll get over an inch of rain in parts of the area with the storms once we're done with the storms tomorrow late evening. So I talked about that band coming through at 4. If you're timing your morning commute, right around 6 a.m. is when we look like we're in a lull in between bands, so that may be a chance for you to just drive through damp roadways. Yeah, there'll still be some residual puddles, but maybe the rain isn't coming down as hard. The rain likely to ramp up in the 8 o'clock hour toward the tail end of the morning commute. So hopefully during the heart of the commute, as we get into like a 5:30 to maybe 8 o'clock time period, it's not so bad before the rain starts to ramp up again. It does look like we'll be in and out of rain right through lunchtime, so I'm not expecting, a big drying or brightening. I mean, our temperatures are not getting to 60 because we're getting sunshine. We're getting these warm southerly winds coming in. The best chance of a break after lunchtime will be sometime between 2 and 4 in the afternoon. So if you have to travel tomorrow afternoon, you might want to try that after lunchtime through the mid-afternoon hours. But I'd like you to think about having your travel done by 4:30 or 5 o'clock as the final round, kind of the caboose in this train of rainfall comes in, and this is going to be the strongest. There's going to be rain with some embedded downpours, and ultimately a squall line is the finale to this whole show. So I'm timing the overall intensity of rain to pick up between 5 and 9 o'clock in the evening. That's our window, maybe extended to 10 o'clock on the east end of the island. But the squall line's likely to approach western New Jersey around 6 o'clock, and it'll be moving right along. And this line can bring heavy downpours, low visibility, gusty winds, maybe even strong enough winds that could bring down some tree limbs. So dangerous time to be on the roads. All signals we've been seeing this afternoon is that squall line's approaching the city and, let's say, lower Hudson Valley, coastal Monmouth and Ocean County, sometime around a 7 or 8 o'clock time period. A lot of our weather charts are suggesting even closer to 8, but typically they're a little slow with situations like this. So I think we have to be on guard with this in the city closer to the 7 o'clock hour. And again, it's going to be a skinny line with brief, very heavy downpours and gusty winds that comes through, and maybe the islands between about 8 and 10 o'clock. At the same time, while it could be 60 in parts of the area, the Catskills will start dropping through the 40s into the 30s during the evening, with rain ending as some wet snow or even a little bit of sleet. I think the rain is really offshore by the time we talk to you on Eyewitness News at 11. In fact, even some clearing can be moving in from the northwest, and temperatures will start to drop. We'll probably have a range of maybe low 50s south and east to freezing in the Catskills once we get toward midnight. So let me just sum this up with the bottom line. We have an AccuWeather alert for Wednesday evening, but traveling around on Wednesday is no picnic. Basically, you have rounds of rain the next 24 hours. And again, we're taping this Tuesday evening. So this will take us into Wednesday evening. Rounds of rain with increasing wind and mild temperatures. The squall line's likely to pass through the area between 5 o'clock in the evening and 9 o'clock in the evening. So I think, a 7, 8 o'clock in New York City is right around crunch time there. That brings downpours and wind gusts that could approach 50 miles an hour. There are some wind advisories in our northern suburbs. That starts late day and goes through very early Thursday morning. There's actually a wind advisory that will start in eastern Long Island right away on Wednesday morning. The winds along the coast could be gusting over 40 during much of the day on Wednesday. The evening commute conditions will deteriorate fast. So if you're commuting, you want to be on the earlier side. The deeper you're getting in the commute, the rougher it's going to be, as ponding on roads will start. We'll have low visibilities. We can have some down tree limbs. Following that front that comes through in the evening, temperatures will plummet. We'll have a 25 to 30 degree drop by Thursday morning. So cut those highs in half. We're near freezing Thursday morning, and wind chills are in the teens and 20s, and there'll likely be some slick spots around. This is all being driven by an incredible front that produced 80-degree temperatures in St. Louis and 600 miles to the northwest of St. Louis in the Dakotas. It's been in the singles this afternoon. So very dynamic weather system. The core of the Arctic air is not coming into the northeast, so we don't have as much what we call frontogenesis when this gets closer. It's still unstable and a dynamic situation, but not the same type of thing they're seeing out in the Midwest right now. Just highlighting the gusts, again, it is going to get windy all day tomorrow. Some gusts 20 to 35 miles an hour, but some gusts at the coast will already get going around 40 miles an hour, even as early as midday. The peak winds come during the evening, but I'll tell you, the winds behind the front are pretty strong. I mean, we could get some gusts to 40 miles an hour behind the front. So it is plausible that if you don't get in to like a gusty thunderstorm or a heavy downpour with that squall line, and maybe you have a gust 35, 40 miles an hour, you could even have a stronger gust behind the front as it comes in and dumps all that cold air in. Again, wind chills will, it'll feel like mild 50s, 60s early Wednesday evening, and then real weather whiplash as we go into Thursday morning. It'll feel like teens and 20s. All right, so at 7 a.m., let me just give you a snapshot at 7 a.m. It's breezy and mild. We're at 54 degrees at that point, high launching pad. There are showers around, but I think we're in a relative lull in between rain bands. After 8 o'clock, more stuff starts to move in, and there could be a couple of downpours developing. Rounds of showers tomorrow, windy and warmer. If I had to pick a break during the day, it would be between maybe 2 and 4 o'clock, and then we start to get into the meat of the storm with that squall line coming in late day and into the evening hours. We'll have gusty downpours early tomorrow evening. Temperatures start plummeting, turning much colder. Could see some icy spots develop late. If the wind doesn't blow a lot of this rain dry off the area roadways, and it probably will on the main roads, but certainly on secondaries or on the shoulder of some of the main roads, you have to watch out for some icy spots, whether it be sidewalks or your steps in the suburbs. Just be aware of that as we go into Thursday morning. And again, gusty winds and blustery into Thursday morning. The one thing I would tell you is even though it's blustery on Thursday and we fight to get to the 40-degree mark, it is a very short-lived cold shot. This cold shot is in and out. Even by Thursday afternoon, the winds will start to ease a little bit, and with sunshine and patchy clouds, 41 will feel like 32, but not as harsh as the morning hours. Still a cold Thursday night. March comes in like a lamb. We're in the upper 40s. We've got sun, a few patchy high clouds. That's going to feel like a nice day. The weekend's even milder. The problem is there's a storm off the mid-Atlantic coast, and progressively we're going to get cloudier. There'll be some spotty shower threats on Saturday and Sunday. It's hard to determine if there's going to be a period of steady rain, but most likely I think it would be either later Sunday night into a part of Monday as that coastal low makes its closest pass offshore and then exits, and we're probably just mostly cloudy on Tuesday with temperatures in the 50s. But we'll definitely iron out those details tomorrow. But first, we really have to get through tomorrow evening with this rough weather. So just be aware, try not to travel come late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening, and certainly even be careful out on the roadways during the day tomorrow because there will be gusty breezes and rounds of showers. Make sure you have your rain gear, your boots, make sure the wipers are working well, and just plan on a rainy, mild day. Don't have to throw on a lot of layers underneath the raincoat. It'll be certainly mild as temperatures try to get into the low 60s, but it will be kind of a nasty day that ends on a sour note with the potential for some rough weather into the evening hours. That's the way it's shaping up. I'll continue to update you if need be. This is, again, a storm update, whether or not. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you again, rain or shine.